My name is Dr. Jian Xu. I'm a senior lecturer in communication at Deakin.
My name is Melati Saldin. I'm a lecturer in cultural heritage and museum studies at Deakin University.
My name is Sue Chen, and I'm associate professor of writing and literature in the School of Communication and Creative Arts at Deakin University.
My name is Dr. Gilbert Kalia. I'm a lecturer in gender and sexual studies in the Writing, Literature, Culture group at Deakin University.
I had the idea to set up the research group back to 2019 because I feel Asian studies scholars and HDR students at Deakin urgently need an academic community in which we could network and collaborate with each other, organize events and activities, and collectively promote Deakin's visibility and research strengths in Asian studies. And I really appreciate the faculty's support of my idea so the research group could be formally launched.
My main area of research is children's literature, media, and culture, and I am specifically interested in the ways that literature and media for children shape and influence conceptions of childhood and transform ideas around children and youth across cultures, particularly in cross-cultural exchange between China and the West. I combine methods derived from literary analysis, cultural history, book history, as well as cultural studies.
My particular research started off a long time ago focusing on anti-Asian racism, but my research expanded to include a broader study of racism and racial representation in Australia, looking at things like racial inequality and trying to understand how we respond to that.
I'm a critical media and communication studies scholar, and I do research on Chinese digital media and China's celebrity culture and politics.
And my research is interested in the nexus between heritage and resilience in post-conflict societies. I'm specifically interested in the role heritage can play in helping communities build identity, belonging, and sense of place. But this was something I couldn't explore back home just because heritage is controlled by the state.
So I'm particularly interested in ideas around the concept of huai, which is a Chinese word that's loosely translated as good. So the key research question that my collaborator and I have been working on is what does it mean to be a good child, not only in China, but also in Chinese societies around the world. And what we found is that this is a complex and ambivalent concept that affects children in different ways. These ideas have been challenged in recent years, so we explore through media and literature for children how this idea has impacted children.
Media has different impacts on heritage, especially as a migrant myself. Social media platforms are important for us to connect with family back home, connect with other Sri Lankans and other communities here in Australia. It's really important for us because it helps people, especially diasporas, migrant communities, make sense of place, connect to communities, and connect to their heritage.
I think Asian media culture and politics have had profound impacts on Australia in many aspects. WeChat, which is owned by China's digital giant Tencent, is now the most popular social media platform used by Chinese diasporas in Australia.
So it's very important for us to understand different aspects of Asian societies, from media, culture, language to its politics.
Right now, if you look at things like K-pop and anime, these are huge influences of the young generation in Australia. But I'm more interested in thinking about how Asians have contributed to Australian culture.
And we can see that through, of course, the food that we eat, the music that we listen to, the books that we read, the movies and television that we consume.
But also if you think about Asians as actually being part of Australia for a long time, and not just in terms of permanent, but also people who are kind of temporary migrants as students or as workers. As part of an economy, Asians make up a large proportion of that, and so we contribute to the health industries, agriculture, food services, scientific research at universities. So it's a huge contribution to Australia at a much broader sort of level.
There's a long history of migration of Sri Lankans to Australia. The earliest migration dates back to the late 19th century. And in the 1871 census, 58 Sri Lankans were recorded as living in Australia. So there were many Sri Lankans coming in here to work on the sugarcane plantations in Queensland, on the goldfields, on the railways. So we've had different flows of migration to this country, and that's continued up to the present day.
Our research group is a truly interdisciplinary one. We have more than 30 internal members across schools and centers at Deakin, and more than 20 external members across the world.
We've divided the group into two streams. One is media, culture, and language, and the other is politics and society. So through these different research streams, we hope that our members can collaborate with one another.
So Deakin University has invested a lot of money through their new research ecology program in the faculty towards this particular research area. So we're allowed to develop that strength and also build a lot of connections from people across different disciplines. One of the reasons why Deakin is really useful for me and has really supported my research is because of the fact that they're very focused on community engagement. It's a core part of their vision and what they do.
Coming to Deakin University has given me that academic and intellectual freedom to explore this research in depth and without any personal and professional repercussions. The main impact that I want my research to have in Australia is to really challenge what it means to be an Australian today. There's different ways of being Australian, and we really need to challenge this white Australian identity. And places like the Dandenong Market have shown us what a melting pot of cultures Australia can be. You'd see all these wonderful food carts, and I think food is an important language between cultures. It is an important cross-cultural language of communication, and I think that's important not only when you're making connections within your community, but when you're reaching out across to make connections to other communities. And I think that's really important.
So we hope that the research group will be able to not only bring together scholars working in Asian studies within the university across different faculties, but also known to be a place that international scholars will want to come and collaborate with us.
I really hope that in the next few years, our research group could grow up into a leading research hub in Victoria and even in Australia by organizing impactful research events and activities. And we also hope that we could build up more collaborations and partnerships with top universities in Asia and produce high quality research outputs.